Biden to hit China with broader curbs on U.S. chip and tool export. The Biden administration plans next month to broaden curbs on U.S. shipment to China of semiconductors used for artificial intelligence and chip-making tools. Several people familiar with the matter said. The Commerce Department intends to publish new regulations based on restrictions communicated in letters earlier this year to 3 U.S. companies, KLA Corp, Lam Research Corp, and Applied Materials, Inc., the people said, speaking on the conditions of anonymity. Now, the plan for the new rules has not been previously reported. The letters, which the companies publicly acknowledged, forbade them from exporting chip-making equipment to Chinese factories that produce advanced semiconductors with sub-14 nanometer processes unless the sellers obtain Commerce Department licenses. The rules would also codify restrictions in Commerce Department letters sent to NVIDIA Corp and Advanced Micro Devices last month, instructing them to halt shipment of several artificial intelligence computing chips to China unless they obtain licenses. Some of the sources said the regulations would likely include additional actions against China. Now, the restrictions could also be changed and the rules published later than expected. So-called is-informed letters allow the Commerce Department to bypass lengthy rule writing process to put controls in place quickly, but the letter only applied to the companies that received them. Now, turning the letters into rules would broaden their reach and could subject other U.S. companies producing similar technology to the restriction. The regulations could potentially apply to companies trying to challenge NVIDIA and AMD's dominance in artificial intelligence chips. Intel Corp and startups like Cerebras System are targeting the same advanced computing market. Intel said it is closely monitoring the situation, while Cerebras declined to comment. One source said the rules could also impose license requirements to China of products that contain the targeted chips. Dell Technologies, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, and Supermicro Computer make data center servers that contain the NVIDIA's A100 chip. Dell and HPE said they were monitoring the situation, while Supermicro Computer did not respond to a request for comment. A senior Commerce official declined to comment on the upcoming action but said, in quote, "As a general rule, we look to codify any restriction that are in is-informed letters with a regulatory change." A spokesperson for the Commerce Department on Friday declined to comment on specific regulations but reiterated that it has taken a comprehensive approach to implement additional actions to protect U.S. national security and foreign policy interests, including to keep China from acquiring U.S. technology applicable to military modernization. KLA, Applied Materials, and NVIDIA declined to comment, while Lam did not respond to requests for comment. AMD did not comment on the specific policy move but reaffirmed it does not foresee a material impact from its new licensing requirement. Now, the planned action comes as President Joe Biden's administration has sought to thwart China's advances by targeting technologies where the United States still maintain dominance. The strategy is to choke off China, and they have discovered that chips are a choke point. They can't make this stuff. They can't make the manufacturing equipment, said Jim Lewis, a technology expert at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. That will change, he also said. In an update on China-related measures last week, the Chamber of Commerce, a U.S. business lobbying group, warned members of imminent restrictions on AI chips and chip-making tools. We are now hearing that members should expect a series of rules or perhaps an overarching rule prior to the midterm elections to codify the guidance in recently issued Commerce Department is-informed letter to chip equipment and chip design companies, the Chamber said. The group also said the agency plans to add additional Chinese supercomputing entities to a trade blacklist. Reuters was the first to report in July that the Biden administration was actively discussing banning export of chip-making tools to Chinese factories that make advanced semiconductors at the 14 nanometer node and smaller. U.S. officials have reached out to allies to lobby them to enact similar policies so that foreign companies would not be able to sell technology to China that American firms could be barred from shipping, two of the sources said. Now, coordination with allies is key to maximizing effectiveness and minimizing unintended consequences, Cliff Williams, a former Trump administration official said. This should favor broader regulations that others can replicate instead of one-off is-informed letters.